Test, 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 test. All right. Test, test, test. All right. Just a few things to touch up on here, and we're going to be ready to go. All right, guys. It's been a while since I've gone live. I'm going to do this more consistently. Those of you who haven't been paying attention to what's happening now, as you can see, crypto is on its way to being widely adopted. And now, this isn't like some big I told you so or anything else like this. This is more of something that I want you guys to realize that you should be practicing urgency. And now, urgency doesn't mean take your whole life savings and dump it into this crypto market, right? Nobody invests that way. See, the thing about crypto has like this weird energy around it where everyone treats it as if it's like some lottery scratch off ticket that you don't have to have any knowledge of what you're doing or anything else like that. Like they don't use the same discernment that they use with other investment classes. This is one of the things that I really want people to start understanding more of is that if you treat this like any other asset with risk management and risk tolerance, you will not only make a lot of money, your favorite word, you could potentially get rich. Now, when I don't like to use ad copy words like get rich quick, make millions of dollars, right? Because many of you don't have financial literacy. Being a high income earner doesn't make you a great investor. Being a low income earner does not mean you cannot be great at investing. One of the most important stories that you need to know is my very own. I didn't start my investment journey until 2018. Now, this live stream is going to be about my journey at first. What did I see that made me want to believe in crypto? Because what I really want people to do is have an understanding. We live in this microwavable success society now that everybody feels like, hey, I'm going to get rich quick, or I need instant overnight success. And then some people are patient, but not investing in the way that the crypto market cycles can actually help them retain some capital to power itself up. Now, if you follow my short form content, one of the things that I say in it is that if you know the market is volatile, it is a strength. What does that mean? Well, one of the things that makes crypto very risky is the volatility. What this means is that the market goes up and down, up and down. And then it does it erratically and very consistently. See, what I learned over the 7 years that I've been investing in crypto specifically, and now I'll get to that backstory on that. One of the things I learned over the 7 years is that many people don't understand that the volatility is an opportunity to power up your gains. What does that even mean? Your gains is your return on investment, right? ROI. When you looking for a return on your investment, right? They also call that the maturation of assets performance, right? So you have to allow your assets to perform. Many people you hear in real estate that many millionaires are made in real estate. Now, not everyone who becomes millionaires in real estate, they don't just do it overnight. Even the flippers, unless you have access to a ton of capital and an already well-established team, you're not going to flip yourself into millions overnight. That is something that's going to take you at least 5 to 10 years. But here's the thing where our microwave success society does not understand. 5 to 10 years is huge. If you look back the last 10 years of your life, and if you would have gotten your affairs in order, meaning fixing your credit, focused on getting an emergency savings fund, like all this stuff is boring, but it's the stuff you have to think about in order to see proper returns on your investment. Now, every time that you hear and see someone just talk about investing, if you look and doom scroll on these little devices, trigger words, emotional triggers. Here's how you can get rich in the next 30 days. Here's how I just took $14,000 and flipped it into 375,000. Now, everyone likes that story, right? The story where invested $14,000 and one of my greatest investments was in Loop Ring and it turned into 375,000. Right? Now, here's the thing. There's people who get on these devices and they get tricked out of their position on what does financial freedom look like to you. Now, shout out to my homeboy, Robert Cortez, financial advisor, gave me the best piece of advice that I ever had. When I first sat down with him, he asked me, how much does it cost to be you? Many people black out when it comes to their personal finances, right? And they don't know how much it costs to be you. This is the whole concept of why many of you won't make any money in crypto. Why many of you have made money in crypto, but you round trip it, which means you watch it go up and then it comes back down. See, many of you do not understand that a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. You also don't realize that when you're profitable, you need to realize returns. Many of you don't know that fees and taxes is one of the most detrimental things to your gains. You need to learn about how capital gains tax works. What's the difference between income tax and capital gains tax? Because Uncle Sam wants his cut. And one of the things that people don't understand about this crypto stuff, especially with the government interests and the Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE, blockchain technology are blocks, right? And don't let the idea that once they establish this, right, and you connect any wallet that you have to the public blockchain ledger, it will be able to be traced all the way back. One of the things that I really think, and here's a gem for anybody out there who's an entrepreneur, is that a blockchain accounting forensics business is going to be huge. If it's something that you're looking for, that's something that's huge. That if you can create a business that's in alignment with the government or the IRS, because remember, this is what we're going to get into later here, is the fourth industrial revolution and how we are living in the Great Reset, right? And now, once you realize that that opportunity is there, you will be able to understand that the reason why our government needs revenue is from taxes. See, I believe that the capital gains tax shelter is going to be a double-sided coin, right? You're going to report what you have, right? Or not, right? Maybe you don't have to report it. I don't know the details of it. But what's going to happen is you're going to have to come pay Uncle Sam eventually, because Uncle Sam's got bills to pay, and tax revenue is how they pay bills. So you have to be realistic about that. So now, I want to tell you a little bit about myself, who I am, what my business does, and what services that I offer. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. Let me see. Boom, boom. All right. So now, my name is Michael James. I am the founder and creator of Fourth Eye Visions, which is a portfolio, strategy, and blockchain technology educational platform. What I will do is I will help you be able to build a profitable portfolio so you can catch some of this momentum that is being presented to you right now when you see a pro crypto president, pro SEC. What should you buy? Time is money. You could leverage my 7 years of investing of how I took $80 a month. What I was doing, that story, $80 a month, is every paycheck, I would take $40 out of it. and I would invest it into the crypto market. And I only started out with 4 projects: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Loopring, and actually XRP. But I no longer hold XRP, and there's a story behind that. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't. And let me add to that. Just because I'm in here and I seem like I know what I'm talking about, always vet the person who is educating you, right? Go, and you don't have to vet by knowing them personally. I'm saying that see if what they say and what is talked about consistently across all platforms is something that makes sense to you. And don't just listen to people who are confirming your biases, people who are telling you that this token is going to go this far. This is the best thing ever. This project is a dookie coin, right? And then I don't want to get flagged, so I say dookie coin. It's S word coin. What you need to understand, right, is that I'm sharing my screen here. It's called the Crypto 3C method. Now, this is an ebook that you guys can get. It's only $7. This is the whole strategy that I use that I started with $40 a week, which was $80 a month. And today I have multiple 7-figure investment portfolio. Now, here's the thing that many people want to know. How do you do that? Where do you start? That's what this ebook will do. And if you want even more speed, a more personalized portfolio strategy, we can jump on a one-on-one Zoom call where you will see my face. This isn't some AI bot scamming you out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, $20,000, thousands of dollars. This is me and you doing a proper interview. We're going to learn your risk tolerance. We're going to align you with your goals, how much capital you have to invest, so you can build a strategy that actually makes sense. You're not just going to be throwing darts at a board, hoping, when is this coin going to the moon? When, Lambo? That's not what we're going to do. We're going to act like professionals. Even if you're not, you're leveraging my 7 years. I'm going to help you understand it. The 3C method stands for clarity, confidence, and conviction. What me and my company, my business does is we help you get clarity, help you build your confidence so you can invest with conviction. If that's something that you're interested to, be sure to go down to the description. You can book a one-on-one portfolio call. You can grab this ebook for $7. If you're somebody who already has money invested in crypto, I've also created a GPT that will actually help you balance and rebalance your crypto portfolio with just using screenshots. This is called the 3C Coach. And then also, if you're somebody who has upwards of $10,000 to $20,000 that you would like to invest in cryptocurrency, I offer personalized mentorship where you have direct access to me, where you can text me and call me. I don't answer all of my DMs. I'm not going to. Everybody wants armchair expert, answer my question over a quick DM. And then I find that most of you who DM me, you don't do anything or you do it wrong. And then I have to spend my entire day helping you do something to make money and I get none. You may not like that, but remember, I know what I'm doing. So now, with that being said, let's get into this presentation so I can show you guys what we are going to get into. Now, this all starts from the fourth industrial revolution. Let me share my screen here. We are in the Great Reset. All right, now let me get this up. Let's see, screen. Screen. All right. So as you can see here, this website is the World Economic Forum, WEF. This is weforum.org. The importance of this is the book that changed my life about The Fourth Industrial Revolution was written by Klaus Schwab, right? The Fourth Industrial Revolution, this is a PDF that if you go inside of my free community and you actually look around in resources, this is available to you. This is the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Now, the reason why this book is impactful, right, is this is a roadmap to the Great Reset. When the pandemic hit, they referred to this as the Great Reset, that we needed to reset everything. Now, when they call it the Fourth Industrial Revolution, what you need to understand is that this is the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We started out with coal, steel, and then we had nuclear energy, right? These are all three: first, second, third industrial revolution. And then we're in the fourth industrial revolution, which is the era of the internet, right? So now, whether you guys like it or not, we are becoming more digital, not less. Most of the things you do now is on your device. You don't even have to actually make phone calls anymore. If you want to hail a cab or a ride to work, you download the Uber and Lyft app and they come pick you up. You need groceries. You don't call the store and see what's on there. There's a menu for restaurants there. Then on top of that, once you make your decision based on what you see on the menu, guess what else you could do? Order it, have someone delivering it, right? So now, before I get deeper into this, I want to show you the table of contents, right? See, this is the Fourth Industrial Revolution by Klaus Schwab. This is something I want to important highlight. You might not be able to see it on the screen share. It's right here, the copyright date, 2016. One of the things I wish I read this book in 2018, and that's where my conviction came from. But can you imagine if you had access to this book in 2016? And then not only did you have access to this book, even if you realize what the table of contents were, think 2016, because what I'm going to show you, right? See the appendix, the deep shift here, right? So now what I want you to see, let me make sure I can fit all of it in there. There we go, right there. So when you see this appendix, the deep shift, these are all of the things that are ushering in the Great Reset, that we are going through a deep shift. Klaus Schwab wrote this in his book in 2016. Implantable technologies. Have you ever heard of something called Neuralink, right? What do you see here, right? Paralyzed veterans surgically implanted with Neuralink device at the Miami project to cure paralysis, right? See, here's the thing. Like, it's really cool to be a conspiracy theorist, right? And it's also something that you have to be able to see is that there's going to be some good, but that's how things get ushered in like a Trojan horse, right? You know how people say that I don't want to put the chip in my head. I want you to think the polarity of the guy who's doing this. Now, this is not political. I just want you to realize the psychological ramifications. I made a post the other day in the 27, like the law 27 in the 48 laws of power, right? Is to actually do things in order to build a cult-like following, right? I want you to think about anybody, not just to cancel out. I want you to think of how impactful Beyonce, Barack Obama, Trump, Elon. I want you to think how cult-like the people are who follow these people, right? And not saying they're all equal and on the same playing field. People like to do that all the time. That's one of the things you're going to have to break out from. One of the things that I want you to understand, though, is that because you like somebody, you're more likely to do something, even if it goes against your own moral compass. You see this in the dating world all the time. People make concessions all the time. See, the thing that's fakest about the internet is how altruistic and how logical and how much people are in control of their emotions when you see them in the comment section. But when you see people, the ramifications of where you can see that these people don't have any control over their life, you start to see more and more and more of that. This is what I want you guys to realize. is that the matrix starts in the smartphone. Why do you think Mark Zuckerberg's investing so much into super intelligence? Why do you think he has the money to do so? What did he create? A social network. Look at the people who are controlling this space and see where it started from. See, the way we entered the matrix already, see, many of you think that you're free of it. I know I had one of my friends of mine talking about, I don't want any of this AI stuff. I don't even care about this crypto stuff. You're not in control of your network. You don't have ownership of anything. I want you to think about this. The message around the World Economic Forum, this is not true. Allegedly, I think this is one of the things that gets my stuff taken down. But there's this conspiracy out there that they want you to own nothing and love it, right? And I want you to think about all the things that is owned and that people don't love it. And I want you to look at this list: driverless cars, the connected home, right? Storage for all, the supercomputer in your pocket, 3D printing and manufacturing. See, 2016, the governments and the blockchain. I remember when I started telling people, because I read, folks. See, I'm not being emotional and just barking out of my emotional beliefs. What I do is go read stuff and then I get on social media and talk about it. That's what I do, right? See, when I told people that the government were interested in the blockchain, it's because I read this book and it made sense. It's easier to control. Blockchain technology isn't even new. It's just an easier and more well-organized ledger. It just makes sense. It's not about whether they like you care about you. This is sovereignty and freedom, whatever any of this stuff says. People are what makes things dangerous and bad. It's not the thing that's bad. It's the people using it. That's what you need to get through your head. It may be a conspiracy because people can use power for good or bad, right? So now, what I'm trying to tell you is what is something that you can have that's ownership, that you would love it, right? And not own it. For one, Airbnb. You ever went to someone's house on an Airbnb and was nicer than yours and you just rented it out? Now imagine if you had something that could pay you day to day, right? That can actually get you to understand that I don't have to own this and I can love it, right? Think about the driverless car, right? I like the Uber Lyft, right? Uber Lyft, I love it. One of the greatest things ever. Like being able, I remember when I used to take taxis, right? I'm probably showing my age there. And you would make a call and you had no idea where that taxi was at. Then I'm not a female, but I can only imagine how dangerous that must be for females. Then this app comes along, right? Now, you want some gems? I want you to start thinking about how data is the new currency now. I want you to keep looking at this list. Remember, it's available. It's a PDF. You can go to the law university at Melbourne and type in Fourth Industrial Revolution and you'll be able to get it. I want you to start realizing the wearable internet. We wear Fitbits, smartwatches. Now they have the meta glasses, right? The meta glasses that you can reach. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg was going on about, right? He was going on about that we have the meta glasses. And one of the things is that AI can consume so much information so fast that if you're not putting information into the system fast enough, eventually AI will run out of information, right? So now, how do you get more information into the internet? You have to upload live data feeds. How do you do that? Well, if you haven't seen the streamers, why do you think they're getting paid so handsomely? They want all of you to do it. That's really like, they want all of you to live stream your lives every day. Guess how easy it is to keep tabs on somebody when you just live stream everything that you do. And then I want you to also think about Tesla is an AI data company. It's not about cars, that controversy about burning the cars down and everything else like that. The car is a tool for gathering information. What is that information, you say? Geospace, geospatial data. As the car drives around, it's mapping out the land. Then, as a better service to you, it remembers what days you go to work, what time. Eventually, you'll be able to start the car up in the wintertime and it'll get that heater nice and right for you. Maybe even defrost the windows without you having to get into it. People are going to love it. I'm telling you, convenience is the thing that robs people of all. That's what people do not understand. Now, see how it has vision as the new interface? I want you to see how it goes from implantable technologies to vision as the new interface, right? Wearable internet, ubiquitous computer, the supercomputer in your pocket. We're already there. We're already there, folks. The smartphone is in our pocket. Storage for all. Now, see, one of the things that's really popular is that's how we entered the matrix. Free. Free is how you're going to enter the matrix because everybody wants something for nothing. Now, that's going to be controversial, right? Many of you love free because you want something without having to do anything. This is why AI and all this stuff is really going to take your jobs. Some people can't even click a link in a bio. Some people can't even send a DM. It's too much work. Some of you can't read a book. You're listening to audiobooks, watch podcasts, and you're wondering why you don't know as much. It's because someone else is curating your reality. That's what a podcast does. That's what this does. What I'm doing right now, I'm curating your reality. See, the only difference is I'm trying to give you food for your mind. I'm trying to get you to think on your own. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. See, the more and more that you start realizing these things, you'll be able to snap out of the matrix because you're in it already. We're a boiling frog. When you got that free email, that Gmail, that Yahoo, that AOL, that Hotmail, and then it left a little trail that every time you logged into something, the data was already being recorded. Storage for all. That's what cloud computing is. Now, I want you to put together while I'm this section here, right? Now, I know you guys just like, point, what the buy, right? See, there's more nuances to it, right? Is I want you to look at how do you invest in storage for all? Cloud computing. Is there any cryptocurrency projects that have storage for all? And then what is the benefits of it being decentralized? Don't get too caught up in the elites control everything and it's just some code. People have more problem with actually having verifiable transactions, like the way people view Bitcoin, right? And all of the things like, what happens? I heard that if a EMP strike happens and the internet grid goes down, you won't be able to use Bitcoin. You won't be able to send a Zelle too. Let me tell you that. You will not be able to send a Zelle. You will not be able to send a Cash App. You won't be able to make a withdrawal from an automated teller machine. If the internet grid went down, do you think that Chase Bank, Space Coast Credit Union is going to be like, take as much money you're out because we can't update the software because the convenience has already dumbed down the teller to where if you had to use the knuckle buster to scan a credit card and verify it and then file it, that would throw so much chaos into the thing that you will upend even the whole financial system. See, in the event of an EMP strike, the real thing that I'm gonna make more content about, I'm gonna go live a lot more, is you need to start building real earth skills. Have you ever seen the show The 100, right? Where they left Earth and came back because AI launched nuclear strikes, right? It's an interesting show. It's on Netflix, I think it is now, but it was on the CW a long time ago. And then but anyhow, I want you to start looking at how you can see opportunities in these things, right? And there's this key date about 2030 that many people do not see, right? See, you got big data for decisions, right? What does that mean? Big data for decisions, voting, voter fraud, right? I want you to put together about immigration, what Donald Trump was saying about the last election, right? How many of these votes weren't actual people? I want you to think about Doge and Elon, right? And what they were saying about how people were getting funding and they've been dead for a while. You have to start looking at things like this now. It's absolutely marvelous, actually. See, that's why artificial intelligence and decision making. See, AI and white collar jobs. See, this book, when I was telling people, I remember some dude was trolling me. Like, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't trolling. Maybe some people like to be so. Here's where many of you are going to be locked into oppression. You're going to be poor and you're going to miss the opportunity. You're so stubborn and egomaniacal, right? That when new information is presented to you, the fact that you disagree with something, this is one of the biggest, most important things about investing, is your emotions will have you missing opportunities. See, if you don't understand that, right? That you're too emotional. Oh, I don't like I made the video about Donald Trump saying buy stocks. And then if you look, and that's what I need to show you guys now, right? I'll come back to this, right? But stop sharing. I'm gonna come back to this. I'm gonna show you guys, right? That what is it? I can't remember what I was gonna do. I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that, guys, on the live stream. Oh, here we go. So yeah. So what if you guys start seeing big data for decision? Yeah, there we go. All right. I want you guys to start looking at things in a different light, in a different perspective, right? Is that I want you guys to realize that the more and more that, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. There we go. All right. All right. So now, back to the drawing board. Let me go back. So big data for decisions, right? So one of the things that you need to understand, right, is that what else is artificial intelligence going to disrupt? You have to start thinking about all of these things that, like, it's not just buying like cryptocurrencies and then guessing which one it is, right? You have to understand that most people do not understand that it's really simple to actually make money in crypto. It's one of the best things that there is. It's one of the best wealth building resources in human history. I want you to think about the disruption of the dollar, gold, silver, right? And see, and then here's the thing. We live in this world of absolutes, right? Everyone thinks that just because something comes along, right, that everything's going to be upended, right? It's not either this or that. We're living in a world that's going to become more and more and more as well. See, you're going to have way more options. You're going to have way more options than you ever had before, right? We're living in a time where, like, you can already see it on social issues. One of the things that I just absolutely can't stand is people who use the term woke like it's a bad thing, right? And then so, like, when I grew up, being woke means you are awakened, right? And then so these are one of the things that if you can't see what you should be investing in right now, right? And then it's not, remember, the emotions of investing is why you're not making money. You see, it's like you get too fixated on one thing when diversification has worked for ages. Although this crypto stuff is upending the old traditional finance, right? You have to take the stuff that worked in the old system, right? Because no matter what, anytime something new is created, it still has the remnants of the old, right? It's like, you know how they say that you're the spitting image of your mother or your father, right? The same thing. These crypto projects are the same exact thing, right? It's like whether it comes to centralization or decentralization, right? See, I think there's some people who are never going to embrace crypto, right? See, this is why these institutions are getting involved in it now. See, they're getting involved in it because they're betting on the fact that their psychological stronghold that they have on you, right? Is that that's why people, like, I believe I'm already positioned to capture the momentum for this cycle because of this book that I'm telling you guys about. It's written right there. When I read that book in 2018, that's when I went all in on crypto. See, and then not only that, I'm somebody who I don't base even the things I say to you off emotions. I'm just like, how do you not see that? See, and then my thing is you'll find your tribe through transparency and honesty, right? And so it's like you will never understand how people do not get that the more and more you get away from your own perspective, it's going to be easier to manipulate you. If you don't have your crypto in a cold storage wallet, you don't have ownership. You're renting it out. If you go on the Coinbase right now, buy some crypto. One thing that many people don't look at is I want you to go on several different platforms and look at the real-time price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink. Look at the real-time prices of all those. Whenever you make a purchase on Coinbase, Robinhood, see, like, you got to think that Robinhood already told you that they're going to benefit the institutions. Remember that thing they did with the stocks? Selling you one thing up front and on the back end, they were getting it at a cheaper price? But you don't refuse to believe it because, as I said earlier, convenience is more important to you than opportunity. You will take whatever's easiest, and even if it's just a mild inconvenience. You could be somebody who's like 12-word seed phrase, right? When you get ownership and custody of your assets, right? You get one of these things here. You're going to get this cold storage wallet, right? You get this cold storage wallet right here, right? And now, all this is a flash drive. What this does, right? This enables you to take a digital asset, right? Whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's XRP, whether it's Chainlink, whether it's Avalanche, whether it's Hyperliquid, whatever the currency is in this. Remember, excuse me, this isn't a world that we live in that's either this or that. It's as well. Because somebody might like something, just think about your car. Go look at cars. If you don't think people like as well, that you can get a truck, sedan, van, coupe, it's not either this or that. You don't get just the Model T. We've evolved as people. We've evolved more and more every day. We're always evolving. Why not you? Why can't you evolve? You can have a choice. You can go to Hyundai on the same strip. You can do the same thing. There's a Hyundai, a Kia, a Toyota, a Honda, an Infiniti, a Kia, a Fiat, a Mercedes, a Porsche, a Lambo, whatever it may be. See, there's this book by David Schwartz, I want to say it is, and it's The Paradox of Choice. And it's how having too many options robs you of happiness. See, now, when it comes to this, right? I'm gonna share my screen again, right? When I share my screen, I want you guys to see now. I want you to take a look at what I'm saying. I want you to go back and look at this list again, right? Let me see, once it shares, it's loading up, right? So now, look at this. When I share my screen here, right? You see where it says the sharing economy, right? What is the sharing economy? The sharing economy is actually the world I think we're gravitating towards, right? I don't think housing is ever going to be affordable again. What they're going to do is this thing called shrinkflation, right? They're going to shrink the square footage of your house, right? Not like the house that you own, because many of you don't own homes. I'm saying that your perception of value is going to be smaller. That's why you see tiny homes, right? You'll see the tiny homes coming, right? You'll see that people who are renting rooms, right? They're shrinking the size of your house. They're shrinking your expectations. That's what shrinkflation is, right? You can see that Lennar is actually building 650 square foot homes now, right? And so they share these 60 square foot homes, right? And the more and more that they start doing this, right? The more and more that you see that these people are accepting more van life, all these different other things, you will start to realize that you're not going to have affordability ever. Even I want you to read the signs. Like I've been making, I want to make it clear to you guys, right? I want to make it clear that we're in this digital, right? See the top internet user statistics of 2025 here, right? 5.4, right? See, 5.64 billion people use the internet worldwide. Mind you now, there's only 8 billion people. Now, also, I have an issue with statistics. That's why when people are like, a quick Google search, right? See, we were already getting dumber. Google had already made people dumb. The logic that if we had 8 billion people, right, and 5.64 billion people use the internet, you ever asked how they come up with that metric? Have you ever looked into that? Like, how do you come up with 5.64 billion people use the internet worldwide? Now, there's tons of different scenarios you can do on that. But now, how many bots? How many people have multiple email addresses? How many people have a VPN and then another one? And then you see all these things. And then where's this data being collected from, right? The more and more you start seeing things like this, you got to question the statistics, right? Because if I tell you 1 out of 10 dentists recommend something, right? But there's 5,000 dentists, why do you care what only 10%? Like, what do all the other ones think? Why is it that in marketing they only use these statistics? I want you to understand how they start shaping you and programming you to think a certain way before, because you're told to get in line. Like I love the little Kanye West line where he goes, teach when the kid's standing on the coffee table and everyone's going to teach that kid how to act, right? And then so now, and it's like when someone tells you to teach this kid how to act, and then he was like, we're all actors, right? What do you think about when you go dress to impress? You're putting your best face forward. See, we're all ritualistic and animalistic in our own ways. We either like, we got to dress to impress. We got to put our best face forward, our best foot forward, right? All of these things are all these different types of things that many people don't realize they're being programmed to be a specific way. Then we get into this whole concept that we have all these extra things that are going on. So now, see, approximately 68% of the global population has internet access. There's a cryptocurrency that addresses that. Now, it's the Helium Network. Now, that's where if we go back to this page, right? Let me see, where is it? If we go back to that table of contents, right? Not that one here. Smart cities, right? We got smart cities and the internet of and for things. The connected home. We are getting more digital, not less. This is what I want to drive home to you guys. You guys have to understand that the more and more that we get deeper down the rabbit hole of Alice's in Wonderland, right? That's when we're going to realize that how do you get out? And this is what I want you guys to understand. How do you get out? You go where the momentum is going. If you see the government investing in stuff, right? If you see the government telling you that, hey, we're going to up in this whole thing, let's put the IRS on the blockchain. Like when they say that, don't take it lightly, right? And then so like you don't want to take it lightly. What you need to understand, right, is that a lot of people don't understand that you don't have as much power as you like to believe. And then I want you to think when I talk about your ego, how that makes you feel. How does it make you feel when someone tells you you don't have power? Are you someone who says, I know I don't? Are you someone who's like, yeah, I have power, I got power? Why do you think so many podcasts now, all these podcasts, and this is why everyone always says, like, I'm married. So my opinion on the dating scene doesn't matter. I'm out of touch. I'm just going to use common sense and logic. If you can't see pitting you guys against each other, presenting yourself with a pop the balloon challenge, right? Put your base foot forward. Pop, you're ugly. Ooh, didn't like the way you walk. Boom, right? And I want you to think about how does that feel when someone does it to you, even though you do it while scrolling. Now, what if someone told you that you're stupid, right? And I might get flagged for hate speech, but I don't mean people are dumb, partly. But what if someone called you stupid? How does that make you feel? Remember Eleanor Roosevelt's quote, you can only feel inferior with your own consent, right? A lot of people are projecting. See, what they do is they project their feelings onto you. You can call your girlfriend beautiful, but if she doesn't believe it, you got to have this whole conversation trying to convince her. Same thing with your husband, boyfriend. People are people. Now, I want you to think how malleable humans are. This is why I try to tell people, right, that once you realize that if you are not in control of your own emotions, someone else is going to tell you what to do with them. They're going to guide you to it. Why do you think people only engage with negative stuff? Take the OnlyFans girls. The best social experiment out there is the OnlyFans content on Instagram. If you look at it, right, you have all these people. See, social media is a huge distraction because it makes people feel like their opinion matters. That's why you have people with faceless accounts, because they just want to be voyeurs, right? And then even while they're viewing, they want to have an opinion but remain anonymous. Or they want to live in an alternate reality, right? I want to be an alter ego. I'm going to be this person who gets on the internet and I'm just going to troll people because it's hilarious. And I think about this all the time, how people enjoy cynicism. Like, this is going to sound like I'm saying something that it's about personal development, which it may be. But what I'm trying to tell you is, right, is I want you to think about how does it feel when you get onto something, right? And then someone tells you, hey, I don't like the way you look. And then you tell them, so what? You don't care. You don't like the way they look. Now, you can only feel bad if you believe that you don't look good. And then I want you to think about it, right? I want you to think, what does it mean when somebody can control your emotions? They tell you how to look, how to think. Only fans detected. Opinion not respected, right? Think about how empowering that is for somebody to say something like that, right? But they lack the common sense because they want to feel empowered with their opinion in their voice. That how do you know that if that girl was walking the streets and you didn't have social media, that they cared? What if she told you you're too ugly to even talk to? Would you feel offended by it? And then why? Why would you feel offended by it? I want you to know that these devices, this internet, all this stuff is psychologically training you to be a specific way. Think of why they call it followers, influencers, likes, share, engagement. See, the OnlyFans detected, opinion not respected, don't realize that your comment, even if you're morally against it, you're pushing it out more. Your negativity is fueling it. See, I'm not a very, I don't like to do religion, but the devil is clever. And I'm gonna leave it with that. Let's get back to this money. You know what I mean? I want you to start considering that. So now I want you to see robotics and services, right? Remind you, again, this book was written in 2016. This is what I want you to understand. So now, on the last minutes, a couple of minutes here, I want to dive deeper into the 3C method, right? And the 3C method, in case you didn't know, let it load up. You can get this ebook, $7. That's all it costs, right? Clarity, confidence, and conviction. A proven path. Who proved it? Statistics, right? What did I just say about statistics? But anyhow, what I want you to see, right, is what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about. Oh, sorry. I think I went off. We're going to scroll down. So here's the table of contents, right? So the big mistakes that crypto investors make, right? The biggest mistake that many of you guys make while investing in cryptocurrency is that you put too much emphasis on making the right decision on how much the coin's going to give you back, right? And when. If anybody knew when, I don't care. See, some content creators, they like to tell you that stuff. This is when. Remember that thing, the DG coin, whatever it was, right? And I made the video about it, right? You're telling people that on July 20th, Donald Trump's going to make everyone millionaires. And I want you to think about that. That's the same thing I'm telling you about why I do not lead with price speculation, because that's how you become a bag holder. Anybody who's telling you that what a price is going to be, they're trying to make you somebody who holds and then they sell without announcing it. Hey, build my bag, right? I mean, the market's always going to do that. That's why you invest in things that you understand. Clarity, the 3 C's. What are the 3 C's, right? So now, let me scroll down. See? Emotional invested, right? Most of you invest emotionally. You buy at the all-time high because someone told you, and then you're afraid you're going to miss out on it. I want to tell you that when I was investing, one of my stories is when it was 15 mil, Bitcoin is $15 million. Or I mean, $15,000. Jeez. So Bitcoin's going to 15 million. Price speculation, right? That when you're telling people that Bitcoin, oh, it's too late, it's really expensive now, right? I want you to just think about the people, even if you're one of those people, it's really expensive now, right? And this is why I was telling you that $1,200 in a stimulus check today would be $20,000. You have to start treating this like the financial opportunity that it is. I invest every dollar like it's $20 when it goes in. Every dollar is going to turn into 20. Some dollars turn into 30. Some dollars turn into 60. Some dollars, right? Because then if, let's say, if you invest $100 into something, right? You invest $1 into a project and it's at $1, right? And let's do something different. And you invest $1 into Bitcoin and it's at $100,000, right? If Bitcoin goes up to $200,000, right? Your $1 is now $2. You see that? You're multiplying money without having to work for it. You're not trading time for money. Now, this is why I'm telling you the story of that. I started with $80 a month, right? It's because once I saw that $40 go in and I watched it move, I was like, how can I put more money in? What happens if I put $100 in? What happens if I put 200? What happens if I put 20% of my paycheck in? How do I live off 80% of my paycheck? How do I live off 60%? What can I do? And then I'll go back to this one last time. The sharing economy. All you have to do is log on to Uber. I don't like doing that. Listen, you got to suffer. Things are not easy. You're going to have to suffer a little bit, just a little bit, right? But I want to show you the most important part of this strategy, right? So now I base things off of market cap, and I recommend most beginners and intermediate investors, right? Many of you need to understand that you're trying to do too much. You're just doing too much. What does that mean? You're doing too much, right? Look at the price of Bitcoin. You don't need 115,000. See, what you need is whatever you put in, go over here to the right. This is what you need to see. Percentage return on investment. If you would invest any amount of money, any amount. See, this is what you guys don't realize. You guys are trying to get these astronomical returns for little to nothing, right? And then so now, the more and more that you see this, right? And the more and more, hold on. The more and more that you see this, right, is that you will start realizing that you need percentage return on investment. Now, this is what I want you guys to see here, right? Whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, right? Everyone always talks about it went up 500%, right? I'm an Ethereum maxi. As you can see, in the last 3 months, which one of these three performed the best? You can see Ethereum did, right? So now, here's what I'm saying. 3 months ago, you take $100, right? This is what diversification is, right? This is the strength of diversifying. Now, I'm hosting someone said a 5-day challenge. I'm probably going to only do 3, right? But I'm going to break down how to invest. And if you want to be a part of that, you need to join the community, jump on a one-on-one call with me. If the fastest route is to do the one-on-one portfolio strategy and get it done in an hour, right? But if you're somebody who needs more proof, you could join this 5-day challenge that's coming up. Just be sure that you're on my email list. You can just click into my bio in the description below, and then just find the free stuff and sign up for it, right? So now, if you had $100, right, and then you invested $100 in Bitcoin, right? Now, this is what I think is crazy. This is 90 days, right? Just over the last 90 days. Now, I'm not saying that this is how it works all the time. I'm using a real-time reference that if you started And then this is what happened, right? So now you do 90, right? 25. So that went up 25%, right? Ethereum went up 110%. XRP. Now, many of you get $100, right? And you're like, I'm gonna just put it in XRP. Someone told me about it, right? Here's what happens, right? You put that $100 in, right? In 24 hours, it goes down 3%, right? In 30 days, it went up 35%. In 60 days, it went up 42%, right? Now, this is the point that I'm trying to drive home to you. If you diversify between these just three, and now what I teach in my strategies, right, is that invest what you believe in. It's a Warren Buffett strategy. Even though he doesn't like crypto, his investment strategy and mindset is sound. You just make it applicable to the thing that you want to invest in, right? His risk management is sound. What I'm telling you, that if you would just dump it into one of those coins, you would only make 25% on Bitcoin. You would make 40% on XRP. You would make 110% on Ethereum, right? Now, the psychology that why people move around so much, right? And see, this is not me. This is why I'm not emotional. People are like, oh, well, if I like an Ethereum maxi would be like, oh, if I put $100 in Ethereum, I made $100. I made 100% on my investment, right? But what happens if XRP rips up tomorrow, right? Then you go, maybe you don't have more money to put in. Then you go chasing XRP when you should have been in at 40%, right? XRP rips up. You're still in Ethereum, right? Bitcoin, we're talking 25% on your money. Come on now. Take your savings account, put it in Bitcoin. And I don't care what people say. Look at this. I don't care what people say. There we go, right? So now let's go. So look, this is the all-time chart on Bitcoin, right? It's not always like that. I want you to see the downside. The downside. Yes, it's volatile, but that is a healthy investment. It doesn't even matter. What do we do here? What do we do here? Let's go here. Let's go somewhere. This is a stock that I have because I used to work at Sam's Club, right? So I like looking at this, right? I want you to see this all-time chart. This is crazy. Walmart is a great investment. Just look at that. And then the thing is you let time do what it do. That's what many people do not understand. See, I got in here, right? 2018, $28 a share. And I remember watching it like, ooh, $3, $3, $3. But today, the stocks that I bought then, and then they do employee purchasing program. So the money I was putting in, they would match 50% of it. If I put $100 in to buy stock from my paycheck, they would put another $50 in free money, right? And I'm telling you, I was getting 2 stocks at a time, right? Powering up. I don't even work there anymore. But look at what it paid me. Leave with something. Get stocks and shares, guys. Now, it's not about Walmart. This is just look at the similarity in the charts. Healthy. Not as volatile, right? But also, Walmart is not after the post-pandemic on a random day. And then, all right, guys, I'm approaching my deadline. So my ebook, join my community. If you're somebody who has a little bit of money, if you're somebody who has a little bit of money, you want to build a portfolio that is direct forward that you can strategize and do, be sure to connect with me, right? And get a one-on-one strategy call. You also get access to my visionary village, where I do most of my conversations and things that I like. If you have follow-ups after our strategy, you'll see my market analysis. I'll go deeper dive and things like that. But what I really want you guys to see is that we're in time that we have the best opportunities of a lifetime. And so you need to get involved. And if you're somebody who has a lot of capital to invest and you want to actually make some money, consider doing the mentorship with me. And yes, it costs money. Well, guys, hope you guys have a blessed day and be sure to follow me.